Hey guys, welcome back. The question on my plate today is from Sarah. Sarah is asking if I've listened to your video several times on personal development and all, and I have learned to put myself out there. However, I find myself being called for an interview but never getting the role. So I'm going to answer this question in three parts, and this part is called interview disposition to secure a job. The first thing you need to know is that when it comes to job seeking and things like that, you have to know that when you're submitting your CV, you're not the only one submitting your CV. There are several other persons out there. They are doing everything they can to get the job. So whoever is interviewing you is going to see several interview dispositions. However, there is that disposition that is required for you to secure the job. And that is what we're going to be discussing in this part of the video. There are three interview dispositions that is essential, very essential for you to get the job. And the first is competence. How do you showcase that competent disposition? You have to be good at what you do, and you have to be ready to let them see just how good you are. You have to imagine you're trying to convince your own self. So when you're talking to those people, forget being nervous. There are several other people there. They are not going to bite you. They are not going to eat you up. They just want to know how good you are. So enter that interview room ready to show them just how good you are. The next is confidence. This is where confidence comes into place. So you have to also be confident. And if you're someone that is not naturally confident, fake it. Or you could also make it seem as though you are talking to yourself. Like I said, just talk as though you're talking to a random regular person. When you're the one speaking, how I like to see it is whenever I'm the one that has to speak, I always like to know that I'm the one in charge. No matter who you're talking to, when you're the one that have to talk, you have to realize that you are the one in charge at that moment. As long as that person is in a position to have to listen to you, then you are the one in charge. Do you understand? So when you're talking, give it your best shot. Just let it flow. Build your confidence over time. Learn to build your confidence. I have several materials on building your confidence. But if you have an interview tomorrow, you might not have enough time to start building your confidence. So what do? Imagine it's your mom you're talking to, and then talk to that person as though it's your mom you're talking to. However, make sure you keep it professional and ethical, but just talk as though it's a family relative you're talking to, while still keeping that professionalism and ethical conduct. You have to do your best to make sure you get that weight of anxiety, that weight of consciousness away from you, and just let it flow. Just let it glide through. Of course, glide through. Exude confidence naturally. You know, when they say exude confidence, okay, this is not a confidence tutorial. So basically, when they say exude confidence, people just feel you have to just be this boss, somebody and all. Exuding confidence is basically learning to be free regardless of who is around. Basically learning to be at ease regardless of who is around. It's not always you trying to put this shoulder pad on your shoulders and walking with it. Of course, there are situations for that, don't get me wrong. But then a lot of situation just requires you to be at ease, just requires you to be peaceful. And just calm down and speak, express yourself like a human being with a full right. This brings us to the final point of interview disposition that is required for you to secure a job. And though this is the last point I'm going to be mentioning in this video, I can guarantee you that this is not the least. And what is it? It is called connection. Yes, you need connection to get everything in this life. Okay, really, that's not what I'm talking about. The kind of connection I'm talking about here is you basically being able to connect with the person you're speaking to. Like right now, I'm talking to you. I'm very sure that there's a large number of you out there that I'm connecting to, and I'm just seated here in my own room, my own space. You're in your own place, probably in a different state, a different country, yet I'm able to connect with you. So that is what connection is all about. Learn to connect with people. And how can you connect with people? First of all, you have to be at ease with yourself. And that is why competence and confidence are necessary. Because if you are not competent, it will give room for worry. Imagine you're even worried when you're competent. Now imagine how worried you would be when you're not competent at what you do. So that is why it is very essential for you to be competent and then for you to be confident, because all of this allows you to be free. They allow you to not build up unnecessary wall in between you and the person you're talking to. So learn to be at ease, and that would help you to connect better to the people you're talking to. How else can you connect with people? How can you actually connect with an interviewer? You just met somebody for the first time and you want to connect with this person. It's not something that is forced, so you're not going to try to force it, because when you do try to force it, you enter that people-pleasing phase, you enter that aura where it can just be so obvious that this person is trying to force something, and then it starts to smell like desperation, and people can smell that you're acting desperate. When you're at ease, the next thing you cannot do is to find common ground. When they talk about something, find out how to, because if a good interviewer, of course, will definitely want to know more than you just answering A for A, B for B. They want to know more than you just answering your question, right? They want to know how you work well with people. They want to probably know about your hobbies and things like that. So learn to find common ground. I can remember an interview I attended, and one of the things I shared with the CEO was a love for chess. He plays chess and I play chess, and that was really interesting. That was interesting to talk about, and we even ended up joking that we might have to play a match in future. And of course, I got employed. So you see, so learning to find common ground just create a connection. Now, I'm not saying that any interviewer you see, any potential employer you see, tell them you play chess and they possibly can play chess too or something. Just learn to create healthy habits for yourself, because when you have healthy habits, you would likely see that people also share these habits with you. So that's what I'm talking about. So build healthy habits that you could share in common with people. And one of those people is your potential employer. So guys, I would love to go on and on, but I do not want this question and answer videos being so long. So I'm just going to mention one last way to build connection. Now, this is a secret, so listen and listen good. Another very important way to build connection, to just connect with the person interviewing you, with your possible employer, is to learn to ask questions. When you ask questions, it creates this closeness to them because it shows that you are interested. Have you ever had conversation with that person, and the more you're sharing your story, the more they're asking you what happened next, or they're asking you details. So what did the person do when you did this? What did the person say when you did this? So those kind of people, you get to see that they are interested in what you're saying and you want to say more, as opposed to the person that is always just listening. Yes, true. Naturally, you get connected more to the person that asks questions. So a lot of people don't know this, and a lot of people don't do this, but I do it a lot. In fact, I love to look for questions that I can ask before an interview. When I don't have enough questions, I'm not comfortable, because it makes them know that you're really interested. Do you get it? It also makes them know that you have done your homework as to vetting them. That is why you have questions that you can ask them, because if you didn't do any pre-homework before meeting them, you won't have questions. Do you get it? So learn to have questions that you can ask. Another question you can ask them is when you are done answering a question. So for example, they're like, okay, let me not go into question. I don't want this video getting so long. But whenever you ask a question, maybe a technical question they ask, or they ask you to explain something, and you feel you've explained it, something you can then say is, did that answer your question? So when you ask them, did that answer your question, it shows that you're a person that is interested in feedback. And people that are usually interested in feedback are people that are likely going to go back to do better. Do you get it? So you're already building a connection as though you're part of their team, asking question like someone who is a member of their team, not just someone coming to pass an exam, like the way people usually act when they're going for an interview. You have to learn to engage them. And I can assure you that doing this would increase your chances of getting that role. However, there are still things that you need to do to stand out. For example, you might say you play chess, the CEO also plays chess. How about there are 10 other people that were also able to establish a common ground that they all play chess? So this is why you need to do something to stand out. And that's something I'm going to explain in a different video. So just check the description below, it might appear on the screen. Click that video to check out what things that you can do to stand out in an interview section. And as always, I love you and I cannot wait to see you in that video. Do not forget to like, to share, to subscribe, and leave your comments in the comment section, whatever you have to share of your own experiences. If you have more questions to ask, please do well to leave in the comment section below, and I would make sure to respond to everything. Pray for all of you out there looking for a job. I pray that God grants your heart desires and you are able to not just secure a job, but to secure a really good and high-paying job in Jesus' name. So don't just scroll away, scroll to the next video. So I will see you there. Bye bye.